Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to, if you can believe it, the final February edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young in 2021. It's really starting to feel like spring. There's only after today, 3 days left in February. So I am psychoed. Okay, but we have a great show tonight in here. I know we're already heating things up in here with another great guest. I'm going to get to him in a minute. Before I do, I've got to read these awesome underwriters, and then we will commence with the show per usual. So, we got Auto Country, King of the Used Car in Abington. He just won the 2021 Dealer Rater of the Year Award in Massachusetts among 4,500 different car dealers. Congratulations to them. We got Vape Solutions in East Bridgewater. We got Sweezy Fence Erectors in Whitman. We got Lynch's Auto Cycle, Truck, and Towing in Brockton. They have one number for towing, one number for projects. We got Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We got Smoke and Ashes Tobacco Stores in Whitman, South Weymouth, Hanson, Abington, Pembroke. We got the Whitman Abington News corporate office number. There it is. We got Schnell Performance Auto and Truck in Bridgewater. We got Brighton Tire in Brockton. We got John's Greenhouses and Florist Shop in Brockton. We got A1's Tire and Auto Center in Brockton. We got Royal Pizza in Rainham. We got National Instant Shoe Repair in Rainham. They're open Wednesdays 10 to 7, Saturdays 10 to 5. We got MDI Auto Brokers and Repair in Whitman, home and fully certified used car. We got Doggy Boutique, All Breed Professional Grooming in Brockton, run by my great next door neighbor, Debbie Siddell. We got D&E Auto Body Collision Center in Bridgewater. We got T. Martini and Son Floor Covering in Abington. No job is too big or too small. Topic Time fans get 10% off. We got Easton Fitness right here in the Village Shops in Northeastern. And we got UBG Airsoft and Laser Tag in Bridgewater. I want to thank you guys very much. And on that note, I'm going to introduce this young man. This is Mr. Stephen Fox.
How you doing, Harrison?
Good to know you, Stephen. Thank you for coming up, and I'm doing great. So you found me on YouTube. You were just searching YouTube, I guess. Now you have a podcast, and you're also a filmmaker,
yeah.
And you got a pretty cool history with that. But for the first time ever, this is actually somebody that just somehow perusing YouTube and saw a great TV show, a TV talk show, and said, "I want to be part of it." You tell me, how did that go? And then we'll profile you a little bit.
So I absolutely love YouTube. I go down a lot of like YouTube rabbit holes, like videos linked together.
Yes.
And I just came across your show.
Okay.
And I saw you've been doing it for over 10 years.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, this is just awesome. Like you give people an outlet to kind of talk about their creative side or interests, hobbies, if they're looking to make it as a profession. So I was like, I want to reach out to you and see if I could get on. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're my new spokesman. How do you like that? If I need a spokesman, you're going to be it. You're up. You put it this way, you're the number one candidate.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Thank you so much. That touches my heart at all angles, and believe me, it needed it. No, I'm fine. I'm kidding. My heart's fine. Well, that's wonderful. Okay, all right. Now that having been said, it's obvious that you're a creative guy in your own right, and we're going to find out how you're creative and what way you're creative, how you got creative, and what you're going to do with it, and what you have done with it. So like I do with all my guests, I want to find out what you were like as a kid growing up, where you grew up, and how it got you where you're at now. So let's start with that. Where did you grow up? What did you do as a kid? What did you aspire to? And if I have any questions, I'll roll them in. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I grew up in Thomaston, Connecticut.
Okay, great town.
It's a suburb of Waterbury. It's named after Seth Thomas for the clock, Seth Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Clocks.
Okay.
So big clock here.
I had guests from there, by the way. I had two sisters there 2 years ago.
Awesome.
Models.
Okay.
Well, they're both. One's a model. Her sister's a nice esthetician, but they're both pretty girls.
Awesome.
You sat right. We had two seats, but obviously, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're from Thomaston, Connecticut. It's a nice little town.
It's a nice little town. So I went to school in Thomaston High School, and they had like a media program, digital media program.
Yep.
And they had a much smaller studio than this, but we got to do the local news.
Yeah. Wow.
And I kind of dabbled in on like the filmmaking side of that a little bit. I'd say video making. I don't know anyone who uses film anymore.
Well, I know, but you know what? I mean, at some point though, you might want to just backtrack and bring back the old ways just to show what you can do with it. Because there's nothing wrong with having an extra skill or two in there.
Absolutely.
But if you feel that's just a suggestion. I try to give advice to my guests that's going to behoove them down the line, and that sounded like something you might want to consider. But that's cool. All right, so you did this in high school. You did the local news. That's pretty cool. Did it go out on the cable station in town?
No,
just at the school.
Just internal to the school.
Yeah, but that's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys literally went out of Thomaston and did reports, interviewed people and whatnot. Or was it just in school news?
In school news.
All right, but that's a great start, though.
Yeah, no, it was.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to the University of Connecticut after high school. I went for business. Yeah.
Right.
And so after that, I got an internship actually at ESPN.
Yeah, that's right, ESPN. Oh,
Yeah.
you're going to tell me about that.
So for that, it wasn't for filming. It wasn't anything on the production side. It was
Okay.
more on technology.
All right.
My degree's in technology.
Yep, okay.
But it was still it was a great place to work. It was very lively.
Okay.
And
Did you meet Boomer?
no, I didn't meet a lot of, unfortunately, because again, like not on the production side.
You know what
So,
I'm talking
like,
about. Len
I know who
Berman.
you're talking about,
I know,
yeah.
Is it Len Berman or Chris Berman?
Chris Berman, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Well, he's a character.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Well, why? I mean, you did the production when you did the new stuff at your school, at your high school. Were you reporting, or were you just doing everything technical?
We were doing both. We would
Okay.
always like rotate, so you'd have to be on
Right.
to get a little comfortable with the camera.
Yep.
And then you have to be on the back end side, whether you're working sound or lights or something.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is when you did your internship at ESPN, was it by choice that you only did technical stuff, or did you want to do reporting as well?
But by choice.
By choice.
I really
why didn't you want to do reporting? It
No,
seems pretty cool.
excellent question. Because this has always been like more of a hobby for myself. Like I really like movies, watching movies,
Okay.
watching like even like film critiques,
Okay.
like of films.
Yep.
So that's always kind of like been something I really thought was a kind of like a nice like creative outlet.
Right, okay.
But at the same time, I also love like technology. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
always
Okay, but basically your preference is not to be in front of the camera as much as to produce the films, the
Yes.
product. Okay.
So this is a great way to kind of segue in like why I got started, right?
Okay.
Like so I have a podcast, it's Pew Pew Mountain Dew. We review just specifically.
Yeah, that's right.
like
You
Mountain
mentioned
Dew
it's all
soda.
about Mountain Dew.
It's
Why
all
Mountain
about-
Dew?
So originally, there was something that really piqued my interest.
Okay.
And there's these competitions. They're called 48-hour film competitions.
Right.
And you make a film over a weekend.
Okay.
You get your friends around. You try to make it. I didn't have a camera. I ended up using my phone. I put a team together. We competed in it.
Okay.
We didn't win. We weren't very good.
But you did it. You tried it anyway.
Yeah, and
Okay.
leading up to it, I was like, oh my God, there's so much to think about when you're doing like video.
Yeah.
Lighting, sound, even like on your camera, like all these different aspects and buttons and features.
Yes.
I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
So starting out with a podcast was a great way to get me kind of like introduced to
Okay.
camera features and lights and sound and everything like that to prepare me for that.
And this was at ESPN, right?
No. This was just like a side thing. So the 48
Oh,
hour
this was
film
I'm
thing-
sorry. This was at UConn?
No, not even. So this was at New Haven, but they do them like these 48
Where
hour.
in New Haven? I mean, at a TV station?
No, it's just like a one-time event, like once
Oh,
a
okay.
year
It
event.
was like a seminar.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
essentially, and they'd have like this past year. I think there were like over 30 teams, so just groups of people.
Oh, okay. You were in teams. Okay. How many in your team?
I had about I think there were 10 of us.
Okay.
but there's no limit. So
I
you can-
understand that, but I'm just trying to get a picture of what you did and what kind of what did you try to document? I assume you were trying to do like news footage.
No, so what we do is you put a team together.
Yep.
And you would show up in person, but due to COVID, it was online.
Yeah, right.
And then every team gets their own genre, prop, and then like character.
Okay.
then
What's
you
that last one?
Character. Like
character.
Yeah,
Got it,
like an
okay.
actor.
Yep.
Or actress.
Yep.
And then you'd have to just make a film over the course of a weekend.
Okay.
They kick it off at I think it was 7 p.m. on a Friday.
Okay.
And you had to turn your film in 7 p.m. on a Sunday.
I get it. Okay.
So
So,
it was-
you had 48 hours.
You had 48 hours.
And how long did the film have a certain time requirement?
It's I think it's 4 to 8 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was a
It's a short. Yeah,
film.
it's not a feature.
Okay. Well, did you incorporate like music, voiceovers, and all that stuff?
Yeah, you get to
Okay.
use a lot. I mean, you could always make your own music. We use like Creative Commons license
Cool.
music stuff.
Meaning that like my song, it's copyrighted
Yeah.
now because I copyrighted it, but before that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, and whatever talent you can find.
Right.
So with me, it was just more like just friends and
Oh,
anyone
cool.
who was available for the weekend, and we ended up our genre was like a subculture.
Okay.
So we did like a stoner.
Subcultural what? United States?
It's just like any sort of subculture.
Okay.
So we ended up doing like a stoner comedy.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
And it
I
was.
already like it. I get a Cheech and Chong impression going on here.
But it was a ton of fun. Like,
sure it was.
coordinating it. It was really hard.
Yep.
You don't get a lot of sleep because you
I know.
really got to hit
48
that
hours.
deadline. Yeah.
You probably have to Rip Van Winkle it for a couple of days before. So
Yeah.
you have the energy. You probably drink a lot of coffee too.
Yeah.
Of course, I know. I've been on sets too. I've been in films.
Well, that's the thing. Like I want to think about how long it takes up to like prepare a set. Like, well, you're going to show up. Like,
right.
You're going to show up, nothing's there.
Yeah.
You got to figure it all out.
Well, that's pretty good though. I mean, that's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So you didn't win, but nevertheless, now do you have it on your reel? Is it on YouTube now?
We have, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Definitely going to do it again for this year.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And this year maybe it'll be a little easier if the infections go down, which they are.
Yep.
People are getting vaccinated. My parents, God bless them, in their 80s, they just had their vaccinations and they're doing very well. Now that having been said, how did you get your podcast rolling? How did that start?
Yeah, so that was
And
really...
what does Mountain Dew have to do with it?
Clear, so excellent question.
Okay.
So I had an old manager who once recommended, as I think more of a joke or a comment, that like, because I love Mountain Dew, I love the soda.
That's pretty good tasting
Like,
stuff.
you could do like a review for them because they have so many different flavors.
Yep.
And it's COVID, I can't go out and meet people. If I want to test out doing little shorts or skits.
Okay.
That would kind of be irresponsible. So I said, well, I have myself, I could get a tripod and I could just kind of film myself reviewing, getting more comfortable in front of the camera, but also figuring out behind it.
Okay.
How I want to light things, what are the different microphone options I need, how to get better sound, things like that.
Okay. So does every single podcast, every single edition, you talk about Mountain Dew only?
Basically, yeah.
I mean, that's fine, but I mean, aren't there other things you talk about?
Well, there's I've had like 24 different flavors right now, and I still have 4 we didn't touch that I've just
So you
kind of been in
basically
my
all you
fridge.
talk about is the flavors of Mountain Dew.
Review it, taste it, talk about maybe like the
But
art on the
I
can.
mean, it sounds interesting, but would
it's
you want to have
short.
a variety in there? Other stuff?
Could expand, yeah.
But you haven't. How long have you been doing this for?
Just about probably 8 or 9 months now.
Well, that's almost a year. It's all about Mountain Dew, huh?
But it's just in my free time, like on a weekend off or something like that.
Do the people of Mountain Dew know about you? They
No,
should
so
by now.
and that's one of the things like for like
You should work for them if you like it that much. I mean, they should be paying you.
we have. I mean, we don't. There's not a lot of. It's really friends and family watch it.
Well, I understand.
And it's more for educational thing, but
I
also
see, okay.
I'll do, some friends will like pitch skits or like comedy bits in the beginning.
So that there actually is something aside from the
There's
doing.
some
All
stuff
right,
in it, and that's where you can get more creative and learn more about like filmmaking or like videos.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So the last one we did was like stop motion, like like the little Lego minifigures.
Okay.
We did like a 2.5 minute stop motion skit, like to get into like the actual review.
Okay.
Before that, we did like a film
I take it
noir
that
style.
took some computer generated stuff for you, right?
We did it like the old manually, like
There you
lock
go.
everything
That's
on
what
a
I'm talking
table.
about film instead of, okay, that's good. You did it the old-fashioned way.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
Just like the difference between an assembly line and and handcrafted. That's why it's good to know the old-fashioned stuff too.
Yeah.
In addition to the current stuff.
But when I say old fashioned, I mean like we just had actual like Lego sets, duct taped everything down so
Right.
it couldn't move, and then
Right. You just have
yeah.
nothing computer generated. You just did it with your hands like a puppet show.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. And that's good because the more multifaceted you are, the more handy it's going to come in later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, now you do, how many podcasts a week do you do for this? Or how many have you been doing on average, if you can ballpark it?
Maybe ballpark it like once or maybe twice a month, so not super frequently.
All right. Well, do you have guests on now I pride myself in diversity. I've had so many different types of guests on.
Yep.
I even had a water vendor on once. I needed a guest in a pinch, and he was available.
Yeah.
A water filter, and you know how crappy that stuff tastes. It's supposed to be healthy. I'd rather be dead than have to drink that for the rest of my life. I mean, it's pretty bad stuff. I'm just sorry, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, he was a guest. So, and that having been said, I'm just wondering. That's something that I'm just curious that you're going to have expand it to other things.
So I think 1 or 2 have like other people besides myself.
Yeah.
It gets a little tricky though, like when you're trying to have multiple guests. And
I don't mean multiple. I mean like one at a time, like you.
Or, but
even 2 at a time, whatever.
But even one at a time, like I have right now, like one camera.
Okay.
So if you want, like I could do a wide angle lens to get the both of us, but then like it gets a little tricky with equipment. Like if I have a lavalier mic, how are they going to sound? Like if I'm using one mic, are they going to use the camera mic? I haven't really figured out.
Okay, you just have to figure out like this. Well, guess what? We're halfway through the show. I'm going to watch a little clip from Mr. Stephen Fox. So without further ado, here it is, and we'll talk right about it when we come right back. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Pew Pew Mountain Dew.
Hey, toss me a can of that soda right here.
Let's take a sip. 5 out of 5!
There's a little sand in this, but you know what? I guess it just adds to the authenticity.
Personally, I feel that there's something about dew.
That's good.
So here I am, at the end of a bad day, on a bad week, in what seems to be like a bad year.
We drove all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia, to get down to Bojangles and get this new flavor. And it's only been out for 2 days.
You gotta forgive this woman's debt and let me get on with my afternoon. I hear the sweetness really gets that umami from the sauce.
Oh, that was great. Tell me about it.
Okay, so for those are just some of the highlights from the different reviews we've done. I've included some of the shorts, some of the skits.
Okay.
There's in there I mentioned the Lego one that was at the end.
Cool.
Before that we did film noir, like that black and white style,
Cool. Okay.
vignette lighting on the background. So yeah, we just kind of use those to play around and learn more about
That's
doing
awesome.
videos.
Okay, that's incredible. I mean, you obviously know what you're doing, and that's so. Now you're not in school now. Obviously, you graduate. Now, is this what you do for work as well, or just?
Nope. This is just kind of like a way to like kind of creatively, I don't know, just like flex.
Generate yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you go through your work week. Again, like what do I have over the weekend? Again, it's COVID. I can't see a lot of people or
Right.
do a lot of stuff, but like I cleared some room in my basement. But essentially, like I got my camera set up. I got my lights.
Okay.
I'll try to figure something out.
Well, how much room do you have in your basement? I mean, well, I did a show. Believe it or not, I needed someone to produce my show in a pinch because the power was down at my other location. So I actually had a guest produce my show, and I told you the story.
Yes.
Big Willie the rapper. I had him on at my Wareham location. It's one of my other locations. So I needed to have it done because the Wareham was on vacation and the other place was down. So he produced the show for me in his loft in Rockland, Mass, which is not too well. It's on the South Shore.
Yep.
We're kind of Metro West. Now, all he used was his own computer with a zoom lens, and I had two musicians on from Spain that were Berkeley students, and it came out amazing. It was incredible. So that having been said, I'm wondering how innovative. I'm assuming you're somewhat innovative when it comes to what you have for room in your basement and what you might be doing with all that stuff.
Yeah.
You really don't need a lot of equipment now, as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you don't need a lot of equipment now as long as you know what you're doing. But also, like the equipment that's accessible to consumers.
Yeah.
There's so many options that weren't available 10 years ago.
Right, but now they're available. So what are you planning on taking the podcast to the next level? What are you going to be doing like down the line? Let's say when we're all cleared up and everything, what's going to happen with your deal then?
We've had some bigger ambition type of like little skits that
Okay.
require a lot more
And
costumes.
how many people are with you in that group of yours that you do this? To make the
There's
skits.
probably like a half dozen
Okay,
of
that's
us.
pretty
Yeah.
good. That's a pretty good slew.
It is a pretty good
skits, yeah.
size.
Okay.
But we had, so for example, like the summer,
Yeah.
cases were coming down. We were going to do a bigger skit that involved almost like time travel.
That sounds
One of my
great.
friends has like one of the actual DeLorean like cars. We're going to
Okay.
film with that.
Yep.
We're going to do the Back to the Future type effect.
Okay.
And then with timing, kind of like, because when you start putting more people together, then schedules become more of a conflict.
Of course they do.
We weren't able to get it, done when we needed to, but that's something, we're going to pick back up, hopefully.
Oh yeah, you will. I mean, I can tell you will. In terms of like special effects, how good are you with that? I mean, even like computer generated, are you good? I assume you edit pretty well. You must know how to edit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and a lot of editing software nowadays has a lot of effects like just in-house or like in the
Okay,
software
right.
itself. So I'm not great like green screen stuff. I could do some green screen
Right.
stuff.
But I assume that you probably get the most updated equipment right now, right?
Yeah.
Most advanced and,
Yeah, I mean-
the current there is, not the obsolete stuff.
Yeah.
Because the equipment, it seems like it advances every year. I mean, at my computer at home, I still have iMovie 2008, but this is 13 years later.
Yeah.
So I haven't done any editing. I don't edit. I've done editing. I suck at it, okay? I'm not an editor. I'm not a tech. I'm a talent, and that's the way it'll always be. And believe me, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because people have my back when, wherever I go now, and it's great. But that's so important to be able to do it and be confident that you can. And obviously you are.
And I think editing's definitely my favorite when it comes to like pre-production, production, or post-production. Because you have everything.
Right.
You have all your files. Like, and this thing could be really like figuring out like the pacing. If you got to build suspension, my God, like tension, or that's really where you get to like play around with how things work. Can I get certain like cuts on like a downbeat of like a soundtrack or like music, or and that's really
Speaking
exciting.
of that, are there any other forms of entertainment that you've engaged in? Ever played music, sing, dance? Well, tell me about that.
Yeah, so back in high school, I used to play for the school band. I used to play trombone.
Oh, cool.
But then outside of the school band, because they had tons of percussionists, I always wanted to play the drums. My parents eventually got me a drum kit.
You did?
God
Okay.
bless them.
And now, so you graduated from UConn, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you got your degree in business, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any children of your own, wife or any of that? Because I'm just wondering how freed up you are for stuff.
Yeah, no, I am married. We have no kids yet.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that having been said, how involved is your wife in your projects, for, your podcast and whatever?
Yeah, it gets pretty involved, especially when I need someone else. For example, for that like the little Lego short.
Okay.
I get like knocked out, and then all of a sudden it's a world of Legos. So I need someone to like throw a can at me.
Okay, and she does it.
But yeah, she does.
She probably does it anyway.
Yeah.
Just when you're doing your spats. I know how that is.
Yeah,
That's why
but
I'm
no,
not
but-
married anymore.
Yeah.
I was never married though. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
But yeah, no, she'll help me whenever I need, like, if I need an extra hand or this thing requires two people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. What about, you ever play sports? You look like you're a big guy. Did you ever wrestle at all?
So back in high school, tried a little for tennis, soccer, and then like running actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. No, I was trying to find out what all about you. I mean, that's the idea. All right. So now that you've done that, you say you found you like YouTube. What about, do you write it all? Do you ever write scripts for these skits that you do?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have other people that write with you, or do you write them mostly yourself?
I do have other people who will help me out. So I'll write a script, and I've never written a script. We never kind of covered it like back in high school.
Yes.
Completely different. Like that could get tricky.
Yeah, I know.
And so yeah, whenever I have my first draft, I'll have my wife look at it, or like my friends look at it.
Sure.
Maybe throw in some jokes. Maybe there's some stuff I missed, or like continuity things that need to get fixed up. But yeah, they're always like willing to help.
So it's obvious you like comedy. You like being comical.
Yeah.
Okay. What about artwork? Do you ever draw, paint?
Not so much for that, but it would be helpful, like if you're, if I was able to learn that, because like
design your own set or whatever.
yes, that's matte paintings, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the people that do you ever do anything with the people that? Well, I'm just curious. How old are you? Because I'm trying to figure out when you were in high school. I'm guessing.
Yeah, 28. So I graduated in 2010.
10 years, 11 years ago.
And back then, like just speaking on like camera equipment and things like that, like
Yeah.
I mean, high definition back then was like 720 pixels.
Well, you can explain all I want.
Well-
but I mean, in terms of my knowledge of that, I'm in all thumbs here.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is the people that you worked with in high school. Are you still friends with them now?
Yeah.
And you still work with them in the podcast?
So a lot of my friends have moved out of like the state.
area, right.
I still keep in touch with them, but we don't work on like specific projects.
Okay.
But if they ever come back, they're always like, I'm always willing to have them on.
Of course. And what about, all right, so what about the people now that you're going to be doing this video project again this summer, probably, the one you did last year that you didn't win?
Yes.
So these are friends of yours that you are going to be working with, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what are you going to do, sit around like either a table far away from enough so that it's safe, or on Zoom to brainstorm,
Yes.
to figure out what you're going to write?
Yep. So they did it. All the different teams met remotely.
Okay.
We ended up doing script writing like in person. Everyone masked up. We were in
Okay,
like a
right.
500 square foot space,
Wow.
spread apart.
Yep.
But yeah, you really, because it's so collaborative. Like
Right.
you really need a lot of people like right then and there. Write your script out.
Yep.
Hopefully you're done. If they're giving it to you by like 7 p.m. for that competition,
Yep.
hopefully you're done around like midnight. But
Yeah,
then
I mean, it's real. Boy, and this is the 48-hour thing, right?
yeah, the 48-hour thing.
And now is it only done during the summer, or how many times a year is this done? You said you did it once last year, correct?
So it's actually like there's There's a bunch of different 48-hour film competitions.
Okay.
We did the 48-hour film project.
Yeah.
And there's one actually in Boston, which
Okay.
isn't too far from where we are now.
Right.
But yeah, if you're in Connecticut, New Haven's probably the closest for you.
Right.
And yeah, it was just an absolute blast.
Of course.
Get a random genre, go with your friends, try to figure out something.
Yep.
Make it happen, edit it together, get it in on time.
You seem like, you're a fun-loving guy. You've ever tried stand-up comedy?
No, I don't think I'm that funny.
Well, you could be. I don't know. I mean, listen, I never thought I could be either, but I post some pretty funny stuff on Facebook you may have seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I know. I love watching stand-up comedy.
You familiar with Sarah Silverman?
Yes. Yeah.
My cousin.
Yes. No, I saw that on a previous one of your shows.
Yeah, she's, I mean, she knows about Topic Time. We met up at the Wilbur Theater a few years ago, and I told her about it. It was kind of
Okay.
cool hearing her say the words Topic Time when she said, "Oh, your name of the show is Topic Time."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but now the thing is, stand-up comedy is tricky because what you have to do is equate your experiences with other people's in order for them to be able to relate to it in a comical way. There are guys. I know a guy named John Perrotta. He's a comedian. If you ever wanted to, he teaches comedy courses in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And he was a guest on my show at my Carver location in 2019.
Yeah.
And I've had some other stand-up comedians on as guests too. I had Johnny Pizzi on, who works with Lenny Clark.
Yep.
I had Steve Sweeney on, who was a big actor, who was in some of the big movies like Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay. Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, those are the kind of people I seek out all the time. But I'm always looking for up and comers. So that having been said, now you plan to do you keep up the podcast, and you're going to be doing the 48. Are there other festivals that you can get involved in addition to that
Yes.
one that you
Yeah.
might be adding on to for yourself?
There's a big brewery in Connecticut,
Okay.
or right over the border actually, Two Roads Brewery.
Right out of from Rhode Island to Mass.
It's from Mass to Connecticut.
Oh, all right. So it's west of here.
So they do like a horror short.
Okay.
Actually, in that little highlight clip, there's just a couple
Cool.
of
All right. Well, that's awesome. They look
Yeah.
great. Okay, that's what that was. Well, guess what, Mike? I'm sorry, Stephen. Why did I say Mike? My bad.
all right.
Stephen, Mr. Stephen Fox. We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I think if you get someone's name wrong on a talk show, that's funny. That's pretty funny
Yeah.
stuff too. But as long as you correct it before they think you got dementia. There you go. There's a little. So what I want you to do, like I said at the beginning, is now that we're down to the final 5 minutes, I want you to look at that camera and give shouts out to people that are going to see the show. You can start with your wife, your family, whoever, and your friends. And then we'll wrap the show up, just like we began it.
Thank you so much. That was
Okay.
really quick. But yeah, I'd like to thank my wife, Sarah, my parents, Caroline and Matthew. Caroline, congratulations on your engagement. Also, shout out to all my friends. There's a lot to call out, but thank you so much for your help.
That's cool. Well, that's fine. You did a great job with that. You condensed them, so we didn't have to go overtime. But what I'm also going to ask you to do, like I do with all my guests, is if you had a good time with me, is to talk to your other friends and see if you can get them on as guests for me. If you got my number, you can have them, give me a jingle or a text, and we'll set them up. We'll set them up as guests for the show.
Absolutely.
Also, I mean, it sounds to me like your podcast looks pretty cool. Maybe I could come down there and hang out and see how you make it someday.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a trip. It's a bit of a haul. Like in New Haven is like 3 hours, but
Yeah.
you made a haul for me today.
Yeah.
You do live near there, right?
Well, near Hartford, so not even that.
Oh, okay.
Not
So
all the way
you're
down
closer.
to the
So
shore,
you're
but
further
yeah.
north than New Haven. New Haven's about an hour south of Hartford.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I know the area. I actually used to do in-home interviews, and my very last one was in Terryville, Connecticut, on June 1st of 2014.
Terryville borders, Thomas.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay, and it also borders Bristol.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I know. That was the last time. It was a very nice, warm, and the people whose house I was at, they were going to a graduation party. They trusted me to take my equipment out after they left and told me not to leave the doors locked. So that's how trusting they are in those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Very small towns.
All right. Well, you did a great job with me. I hope you had fun.
Yes, I did.
I hope it was worth the trip up here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, on that note, Stephen Fox, you ready to wrap it up like we began it?
Absolutely.
Okay, folks, I hope you like another great episode of Topic Time. More to follow. See you next time. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye. There we go.